We're getting some information from Tampa Print today. We're going to learn how to mix and load an SIC60E. We're going to start out with our ink. Today we're using a basic type O. And as you will notice on your CAM, it gives you heads up as to what type of thinners to use, ratios for other products, and so on. It's a quite simple process. Your main tool in this program is going to be a gram scale. On a 60 millimeter machine, you will not use much more than 70 grams of ink, depending upon the work you're trying to do. And that's basically the information you'll need here right now. If you use a 2-component ink, you will mix ink, hardener, thinner. That is important that you learn that format of mixing, because otherwise your ink will not work as planned. Right now, my scale is already zeroed out. I'm going to open my can of ink. I've already kind of laid my tools of the trade out. I'll show my weight of cup. I will zero that back down. And we're going to go with approximately 50 grams of ink. My can has already been mixed. You will definitely want to mix your cans before you utilize it. And again, with a single component ink, it isn't really rocket science. Something close, just as long as you remember those numbers. All right, we're 58 grams. Now, thinner will go next. 10 to 20% ratio. As you can see, this is way too thick to do anything with. Sometimes it does come out of the can workable. Let's say, I believe I saw 58 grams. 58 grams it is. 10% of 58 is 5.80. Gonna zero out. We're gonna go with 580, 6, somewhere in that area. We're gonna start right there. As you can still see, it takes approximately 5 minutes. They recommend that you mix your inks together to get them to the perfect consistency that you'll need to print with. Still much on the thick side, so it looks like maybe we're going to go to the 20%, so we'll double that and go to somewhere around 11 grams. Your viscosity of your ink is actually what is going to make your print. This is the starting of your process to make yourself a good print. If your ink is not the consistency that you need, you're not going to be able to really pull it off. It's going to be done basically by feel in the beginning. We give you guidelines, the 10 to 20% thinner, but it all depends on temperature in the room you're working, humidity in the air, and so on. Personally, in my opinion right now, I am still on the thick side. So I'm going to go at approximately 15 grams of ink. And that was on 60 grams of ink. And 15 grams, actually 16 on thinner. Now we're getting a lot closer to where I'd like to be. You can feel it as you stir, how it loosens up a little bit. It's still, in my opinion, a little bit on the thick side. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. We're actually going to run with this.
How can you tell if it's thick or thin?
Well, in what I do is I will stir the ink I will pull it out and run it back and forth, and you can see it kind of leaves a little trail. You would like for that trail to almost instantly disappear, but not make a funnel inside of the ink. Actually, I'm going to splash just a little bit more. And again, this is going to be a process that you will learn as time goes on your own. Again, we give you guidelines. That's a little bit better. All right, we're going to go to the other room, and I will show you how to load and make your first print on an SIC60E. And I'm going to show you the loading and printing process of the SIC60. First thing that I like to do is it is very imperative that your mag plate be spotless and the back of your cliche be spotless. Reason being, if there is lint, a chip of ink, anything under here, when you press this on there and your cup slides back and forth, it's going to show a wear spot anywhere that piece of lint or dust or anything is under that cliche, which in turn means you need a new one. Sometimes you can get away with it if it's not in your print area, but it's good practice to make sure that everything is clean and 100% before you start your printing process. I'm using acetone to clean. I find it works very well. So does some thinners, but acetone I find works better. Now, to me it looks spotless. I will hold it up to a light and look at it, and the light actually shows me there is something on there that I missed to begin with. And it is gone. I will do the same with my mag plate. And again, there's a spot on my mag plate. Sometimes the naked eye doesn't see everything that needs to be. On the end of your mag plate, you will see a V. The image you plan on using, line it up with the plate end that has the V, and you have now assembled your mag plate and your cliche. Cup, ring. On your ring, you will notice a numbered side. You will lay the ring inside of your table, numbered side outward and upside down. What that does, it enables your cup to fit right inside, creating a base to hold it on your cliche to create pressure. You will find that it seats 1, 2 pins, and it will hold it exactly where it needs to be. Ink, we've already mixed. I'm going to pour that in my cup. Trying to do things as neat as I can. I have my ink in my cup. I have my cliche clean and assembled. Print I'm going to use over my ink cup. Tongs. Tongs are what's going to enable me to move my cup of ink with the cliche into the machine without leaking. Upside down, slid in, wiggle as you lock it with this finger. You will feel when it's locked. Now, what I like to do is I come straight out. Kind of be careful. You want to immediately flip it over. You do not want any other movement other than to flip the cup. I like to come up, look at the space between my cup and my cliche where the ring seals. Make sure I see nothing seeping out. Everything looks great. Now we're going to go right into the machine. Simple process. You have pins. You have a general guideline. Everything comes right in. You are already unlocked. I like to make sure I'm seated. I will laterally lock my cliche to press it where it belongs and then release. I drop my hold downs into my hold down ring. Now that cup is sealed to my cliche inside of the machine. I can now unlock my tongs. Next process, laterally lock your cliche again. And very important, if you do not lock this clip right here on the front, what will happen is when you cycle this machine, it's going to spit that cliche out, and all the ink that was in that cup is going to be all over your machine, which is a pain to clean. All right, we are locked in. I want to double check, make sure I have a good lock. Locked. Now I'm very happy with the machine and ready to cycle. All right, I have just turned the machine on. It let me know that it's good to go by a solid green. I do not have a pad on the machine yet, but I will. I'm going to cycle one time to make sure everything is okay. Everything looks good. Now we're going to go to assembling pad to coupler. Simple process. This will be the pad that came with your machine. It is a multi-purpose pad and it does a lot of work. Depending upon, you're liable to have an Allen wrench. For this reason here, for some reason we have a Phillips screw, but that's nonsense, no need. Make sure you're tight. You have 2 pins. Make sure you lock your pins in your holes, and your pad is now fastened to your machine. I'm going to demonstrate our print on a disc, and if I have everything set right, we're in good shape. There we go. I will give you one more. And that is the simple process of mixing ink, loading, and using your Tampo Print SIC60.